Hi, beautiful people. My name is Honest Am. I'm the creator of the Honestly Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And this is continuing the series of How to Master Your Life, aka How to Become the Alchemist, where we use the cards to ask God, how do we become the alchemists of our lives? A little bit about me. I do not just use the tarot. I use God and customs in the same sentence, and I may mispronounce some things, but if it does not stop Charlemagne the God, it will not stop me. So if you are tired of creating vision boards that never come true, baby girl or baby boy, this series is all for you. So we're going to just start this off. This is not going to be like your typical monthly reading or a year at a glance reading. This is where I really just allow the divine to... Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to get this together. But this is the reading where I really let the divine take the way, and I just am a conduit. So let's see what this month is going to be all about. All right, God, guardian angels, ancestors, beings of light, we come to you today just as humbly as we know how to say thank you. Thank you for just allowing us to be able to connect this way. Thank you for me to be able to have this gift. Now, God, we ask that you please give us the tools to become the alchemists of our lives. Help us to bring heaven on earth. To teach us how to walk into our purpose, God. How do we make change, that lasting change? Help us allow our vision boards to become true. Now, God, you know anyone who will come across this video, I ask that if there's any messages that you have for them, if their ancestors, guardian angels, or ancestors, beings of light would like to come in, know that this is a clear and open space, beings of light only. In God's name I pray. Ashe. All right. Angel number 144. Guys, also make sure that you check out the information box down below because there's always additional guidance and intuitive messages for you. All right, God, what messages do you have for us? So let's see what we need to see. One more, God? Or I said one more. Let's just do this one more. Oh, I'm just going to leave these out. I should have just kept all of those, but we're just going to have to roll with what I got. The first card that came up was education. So this reading this month is going to be all about education. Supporting that is expansiveness, abundance, acceptance, and then down at the bottom we have power and joy. So the message that I'm kind of getting right away, that this month is going to be all about getting the information that we need, getting that education, whether it is a formal education, enrolling on a workshop online, or doing some more like soul searching, so like journaling or therapy or something like that, like getting that self-knowledge, that self-information. But this month is going to be all about education. So think about that and think about what that may mean for you at this time. Supporting that, we have expansiveness. So I feel like whatever we are getting educated on is going to expand us and expand our horizons. I also am getting the message that in order for you to expand, in order for you to get this abundance that you ultimately need and to have this kind of inner acceptance, there's a deep need for you to get the education and get the knowledge of yourself. So often we go throughout life and we're just kind of just living. We think that everything that happens to us is our fault, and we just think that, you know, those bad habits that we have, or those things that bother us, it's on us, or that, you know, we're just a stupid person, or, you know, this is, you know, all of those crazy thoughts that we think, you know, we're not worthy. But that sometimes that doesn't even, it can do with our childhood, it can do with how we were born, and sometimes it doesn't even have to do with that. It could be stuff that was put in our blood before we were even born or thought about. What I have come to realize is that energy is just simply recycled. You know, Jay-Z has a famous line, you know, real niggas don't die, we just multiply. And that's because energy doesn't die. It's just simply recycled. And so if your grandparents were struggling with something, or your great-grandparents were struggling with something, your parents, and they refuse to address it, then that will get put down on you. And that will be a limitation that you are now having to overcome. So I feel like what God is saying this month, you may want to do some soul searching to kind of get some education about yourself, get some education Maybe, for example, you're trying to make this change. You've always been kind of a business-minded person, analytical, and lately you've been more creative. You've been wanting to do more arts things and things of that nature. I feel like what God is saying, go get your chart read. You don't even have to get your birth chart read. All you have to do is go get like a free birth chart generator and just Google the different things and come to understand so that you can see, oh, well, this is just naturally inside of me. So often we're so focus on the external and seeking people to kind of help us to guide our way. But I feel like what God is saying, this is a month and this is a time where, not even a month, a time where if you really want to make change, you have to have that knowledge of yourself so that you can be able to expand and go outwards. It's that other famous saying that always say, if you do not know your history, you're more than likely to repeat it. At the center of this reading is abundance. So no matter what is going on, no matter what education that you're getting, if you have not experienced abundance before in your life, I feel like what God is saying is that this is a time where you are going to have to examine why you haven't experienced abundance in your life. This is a time where God is wanting you to question, where did you learn your money habits? Where did you learn your definition of abundance? I remember when I was younger, I used to just ask for shit all the time. And my dad was just like, you act like money grows on trees. And it's because when you are a young kid, that's when we are still, that's why they say, especially babies, when you're young, that's when you're still in your most pure form. That's when you're still, the veil is super cleansed on you and you're just seeing things in the pure light. And so, yeah, and a lot of times I did just feel like money grew on trees because that's what my soul grew to know. But, as we grow older, as we see our parents struggle, as we start to inherit some of those struggles, our definition of abundance, the things and the visions that we have on our life, it starts to change. Like maybe when you were younger, you used to think, oh, I'm going to be an actress or I'm going to be a rapper. And then over time, you just stop thinking about it. You stop thinking that it was possible. But what it really was happening is, I feel like what really was happening is that's still a dream, that's still a desire that you can fulfill. But what happened was over time, your parents or your surroundings made you feel like it's not possible. And so God is trying to get you to go back in time, go back to yourself and realize that this is just natural in you. It was always supposed to be what you were supposed to do. Angel number 701. And so I feel like God just wants you to understand abundance and what it means for you and what's your definition of abundance. Once you get a clear understanding, a clear vision on what abundance is for your life, it's easier for you to start making decisions in alignment with that. If you've never seen abundance, then this is the beautiful time to dream and to visualize that for yourself. Go listen to Move Ever and get inspired and get yourself in the swag. But the reason why God wants you to do all this, because he wants you to kind of walk through this door of acceptance. And it's not an acceptance of, you want other people to get you or you're waiting for your family to understand you, but it's this self-acceptance. I feel like what's happening for you is that you're struggling with yourself. Like there's like inner conflict. Like you have these desires, you have these dreams that you want to accomplish, but you feel like they're not possible because you haven't seen anybody around you do it. And that's normal. Like we have not seen, for a lot of us, and I speak as in Black people, a lot of us, we have not seen ourselves and, these high spaces. Or I think about myself and what the dreams and the visions that I have over my life. And there's not really a lot of examples for that. I don't have a mentor for that. And sometimes I get frustrated. But I feel like what God is saying, angel number 822, is instead of getting frustrated or, focusing on what you don't have, what God wants you to do is to just know that this was always inside of you. These ideas, these dreams, this vision, this abundance, this luxury that you yearn for, it's just your natural birthright. It's just simply a part of you. And so he wants you to go back, get this education, get this understanding of yourself so that you can accept yourself at the end of the day. Angel number 850. Underlying this energy of soul searching and getting to know ourselves and getting, connecting those pieces from our past and trying to move forward, God is saying power and joy. When you go back and you seek that information, when you go get that knowledge for yourself, this is going to give you power. This is going to give you that inner joy that you need. I took myself on this journey, I'm just like you. I was somebody who was just seeking more information. It first started with, for me, it first started with crystals. And then I upgraded from crystals, and then I started doing energy healing, and then I updated from energy healing, and then I started to take classes, and then I updated from that, and then it was yoga. And so it's like I went on all of these journeys. And at first, I remember when I first did my very first Reiki circle, I had this vision, and it was like my mind took me back to my childhood, and it put me on this stage where I was in this play, and I was acting like a teacher who was retiring, and then it flashed to me being in this girl group. And at that moment, angel number 10, I realized, oh, it's not weird for me. Just because I'm accounting now, it's not weird for me wanting to be a writer or author or actress, because I always was that. That's just who I was in my childhood. It's just that time, my parents, life, society got me to stop dreaming, got me to limit myself and to put myself in this box. And so as I started to do these different activities, what happened was, it wasn't that these activities were changing me. And that's why I kind of create my channel the way it is. It's not that I'm trying to change you or guide you or even direct you anywhere. I'm just trying to affirm you and let you know that this feeling that you feel on the inside is right. Like, you know, I just feel like this information should just be out there. But anyway, so as I was going through that, and I got my chart read, and the girl, like, nothing that she said was shocking to me. Nothing was low-key any new information. It was just like all this affirmation of just being like, you know, you're naturally creative. It's better when you do multiple things. You know, you are emotional. Yes, you do want a partner. You know, like, so it was just like all of this affirmation. And once I realized that the natural instincts that I have, the natural urgings and desires were not only valid, but they were mine, and they were coming from this other deep knowing place, I realized my power. And now as I do my work and as I create, I'm not creating from this place of wanting acceptance. I'm not creating from this place of, oh, will people understand me? I'm creating from this place of, hey, I'm doing my job. This is how I feel like I need to show up in the world. And because I am showing up in that way, I'm standing out in my power, and I just have a joy that the world cannot take from me. And so I feel like God wants you to go through that same process so that you can get that joy and you can get that acceptance and that love that will never come externally. Okay? All right, let's get some more cards out here before we go any further. Woo, that was a lot. 12 minutes in off of just angel cards. All right, God, what messages do you have for us today about education, expansiveness, abundance, acceptance, joy, and power? God, what do these words, what do these concepts have to do with us becoming the alchemists of our lives? What do we need to seek education from? What blocks are in the way? What tools do you have to help us overcome this? Guys, make sure that you check out the description box below. There's always additional guidance, and I do angel numbers at the bottom to let you know that God and the universe are all in alignment with this. And to give you a heads up, this reading, angel number 13, is going to be a little bit longer than our typical reading. So just know it won't be 20 minutes. I typically shoot and try to stay at least under an hour. I'll lay these out before we get into it. These are my law of attraction cards. I use these cards to give us actual concepts, concrete concepts, and ideas that we can use to implement this into our lives. So for education, what God wants you to know that whenever I am feeling good, I am attracting good. Whenever you think a thought of upliftment or abundance or well-being, you are filled with a feeling of positive emotion. You may feel that way, excuse me. Let me start over. Whenever you think a thought of upliftment or abundance or well-being, you are filled with a feeling of positive emotion. You may trust that the way you feel as an indicator to which side of the subject, which is really two subjects, you are really on. Whether it is the subject of money or the lack of it, or health or the lack of it, or a relationship or the lack of one, always when you are feeling good, you are in a place of attracting that which you are wanting. So again, I feel like this card is confirming and validating kind of what I was saying in the beginning, that this is going to be, in order to make a change, you're going to have to know yourself. You're going to have to understand yourself. It's kind of, for some reason, I'm hearing that Drake, like, know yourself. You got to know yourself. Anyways, so it's like, you have to know yourself. You have to know what you want. You have to know why you want it. And this card is saying, like, you have to get to a place to where you're not seeking the education, and you're not seeking these, the signals and the validation outwardly. God wants you to get to a place to where you trust yourself and yourself only, because your journey is going to get to a point. And I'm saying journey because, it's just a common phrase that we're all used to, but your life, I'm saying what I'm really meaning is life. And as you are getting older and maturing, you're going to get to a point to where you start making decisions, or you start pivoting in directions that people around you really don't understand. And they may say negative things, or they may deter you from it. And it's not that they're deterring you from it because they don't believe in you. They're deterring you from it because they never seen it before in themselves. And a lot of people, angel number 1530, their way of protecting people is to shut people down. I was watching Underground, and I realized that, just due to how, the slave system was set up, and like with our parents, there was really no connection between the mother and the daughter, because the mother didn't know if she would be able to keep the baby. And if she did, when she was able to keep the baby, she was so fucking afraid for the child's life that she wasn't able to give that child that nurturing. And so there's a big disconnect between the parental units. And so I say all that to say that, not saying that I know that was like left field, but that is for somebody. But I'm saying that to say that our parents, they may not agree with what you are doing, or they may look at you crazy or say you should be doing something else, but that's just a natural parent instinct. Like, they're just trying to protect you. And I feel like what God is saying is that you need to rise above that. You need to rise above your parents' expectations, your culture expectation, your society expectations, and to really come to a place that where you are only dictating yourself, where there's just this inner trust for yourself. And the best way that you are going to know that, the best way to be able to get to that place is by understanding yourself, and by doing that self-assessment and that self-knowledge, and understanding, where am I in relation to my dreams? How do I feel about this? What is my definition of abundance and success? Make sense? I hope so. Under expansiveness, we have, what if everything was working out for me? So what God is saying is that when you find yourself in a messed up situation, so often what we think is that, life is bad, I've been poor, things never work out in my favor, because we feel like, we've done something wrong, or we're just inherently not worthy. Like, a lot of times that's just, again, slavery. Like, I hate to say it, but it is, it's literally like black as fuck. Like, it's slavery. Like, this shit has been put on us. Like, it's just been embedded in our fucking DNA. And so we have to, like, kind of micro blast out of this shit, Anyway, so what God is saying is that we often think because we hit obstacles, or because things don't work out when we try to, make a step forward, we think that, everything is against us, or nobody, this is why, when you fail at something, oh, see, I'm so fucking stupid, I always do this, or always do this, or, I always have bad luck. Like, you have that attitude, and God wants you to break out of that. He wants you to know that this has nothing to do with you. Like, we have to stop taking things so personal. We have to realize that life is simply a mirror. Like, life is simply this ever evolving question of, what do you really want? How best can you feel good? So God is saying, instead of like looking at your life and being like, oh, everything has been fucked up till now, God is asking you to look at your life and see, what is your life revealing to you? What is your life trying to say that you need to do? For me, eventually, after I went through all of this shit, paid all this money, did all this stuff, I realized that I'm so grateful for my past. I'm so grateful for how I grew up, because now I have like this wealth of information. Like, I got like all these screenplays that I could make out, because my life was so fucked, like my childhood was so fucked up, and I learned all these things, and I did all this crazy stuff. And it's like, now that for me as a writer, as a creative, like those are stories that I want to tell, and that's information that I want to get out. And so I realized that though at the time it was horrible, or though at the time I didn't want it to happen, it actually was happening for my benefit, because now I have that wisdom. Now I have that guidance. Now I'm able to tell people, hey, don't do that. Don't go that way, because, you know, you don't need to do that. Like, that is why I'm in this space, because of all of those roadblocks I made, and like giving my power away and allowing people to tell me what I'm supposed to be. It's like, no, your power is you. You dictate how your life is supposed to go. So if you feel trapped, ask yourself, what if this is actually trying to get me to pivot? If things doesn't seem like it's going good, ask yourself, like, what if it is working out in my best benefit? God, I'm not going to read this one. That's what that card is about. So every single thing that is happening to you, ask yourself, what if it is working? What if everything is working in my favor? Your boyfriend break up with you. What if everything's working in my favor? Maybe that nigga wasn't for you. You know, like, what if maybe he's a cheater. Maybe he's a killer. Shit, I've been watching so much, like, Discovery Channel. Like, people just snap and kill their wives. Like, maybe he was that, and you have dodged a bullet. I literally was listening to that case of Jodi Arias, and mind you, it was in the news so much, right? And I realized at number 2034, like, this girl, like, she was literally just stalking this other guy, was in the midst of like stalking him, not really letting their relationship go, and then that's when she met old boy. And so, like, what if old boy would have been trying to hold on to her? He could have been the one to end up dead in the damn shower. Like, you know, it could have been a whole nother story. Random, but I'm just saying, like, let's stop holding on to things. Let's stop thinking, you know, when God is taking something from us, it's like him saying, you are a bad person. No, he's just trying to pivot you and get you to look at some shit some different way, okay? That's why you have to get this, that's why you have to get an understanding for yourself. That's why you have to look at yourself. Because if you don't examine yourself, you will just be like, I'm such a fucked up person. I'm horrible. But it's not. It's just that you're unaware. You're unconsciously creating, and God is trying to get you. This is literally, now that it's coming to me, this is literally teaching you how to co-create with the universe. If you don't like how your life is going, okay, let's change it. Because God says that when you are feeling bad, you are attracting bad. So it means that if you don't feel good and if life ain't looking good, it's going to keep doing it, because all you're doing is focusing on what life is showing you today. So what God is trying to get you to say is that, okay, you know that you don't like this. You know that this situation is fucked up. What would make you feel good? What would be good for you? Once you do that, turn your attention to that. And then God is saying, keep turning your attention to that. He's saying, like, when you start going down that road and when you make that pivot and things don't work out, don't be like, see, I knew I shouldn't have did that. No, God is saying, keep going. Keep allowing that good feeling emotion to lead. Let me tell you one more story before I move on to the next. I was attached to a yoga studio, and I was going to yoga classes like every single day for like almost like a year and a half. And so this lady, she was about to move her studio because they were about to raise the prices. And so she was like, at the same time, she was starting to do like this yoga certification or life training or whatever workshop. And so I was like, you know what? I just felt like I've always had this feeling when I was on the yoga mat, like, I want to do this. I want to make people feel like this. Like this just feels so good, you know? Like, so I always just felt like, this is God, you know, saying that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is the road that I'm supposed to take. I'm supposed to be a yoga teacher. Like, maybe this is the plan. And so I do the yoga studio. I go, you know, I sign up for the class. At first I was, you know, hesitant. Like it, you know, I went through all those emotions, but eventually I got there through the first day. And I was late. I thought, you know, I had the time wrong, all of this crap. And like, when I tell you that first weekend, this man, like, I didn't know that her studio was actually based off of her brother. And so like everything, like, it was just like the complete vibe changed for me. And I didn't feel attached. And I felt, I don't know, it was just like, I just totally kind of disconnected from that yoga studio because like the brother, and then I got to see her in a different light, and it just really just left a bad taste in my mouth. Now I could have looked at that situation and been like, you know what, yoga isn't for me, or I'm not supposed to do this, or this, these people exploited me. But instead of doing that, I looked at it myself and I realized that I was true to my emotions. When I didn't feel good, I didn't stay in that situation. So meaning I finished that program, I got what I got from it, and then I disassociated from there. Then I realized that you know what? Instead of being like, I just wasted all this money on yoga, like, I just realized, like, that's just another skill set that I have. Like, I may not use it today, but eventually I'm going to use it later on down the line. And I just kept on going about my journey. I kept doing different things. I started doing other yoga classes. I stayed in contact with the yoga teachers that I really did enjoy and I really connected with. So it's like, instead of being like having that situation happen and allowing that to scare me or allow me to feel like, oh, I can't trust myself, I allow it to empower me. And I feel like that's really what God wants you to do, the same thing. God's saying under abundance that you can deliberately choose to feel better now. That is your birthright. Like, if things have not been going well for the last 5 months, 10 months, 10 years, the last decade, your whole life, today, after this video, you can choose to be like, you know what? No fucking more. Okay? As your number 2503. You can be like, I'm not fucking doing this no more. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I want to feel happy. I'm tired of life being like this. And if you really make that a conscious effort and you say, you know what? God, how am I supposed to go? How do I do this? How do I get out of this space? What makes me feel good? If you start to get that education of yourself of what does make you feel good, put your attention to that. And then anytime anything goes wrong, say that this is for my good. Everything is working out for me. Your life would eventually, you will walk into this place of acceptance. You will know that achieving success is your natural birthright. That's what God got you here for, acceptance. He wants you to understand that you don't feel good. These situations are happening in your life because God is trying to trigger a response and an action out of you. But because you are just refusing to do anything and you're just sitting there like, no, this is horrible, this is da-da-da-da, your life just continues to be bad and you keep creating more and more cycles of chaos and negativity. So God is saying, instead of creating this continuous cycle of negativity, just stop. Don't do it. Just stop. Change your attention to something else. Allow your good feelings to lead you. Allow your curiosity to lead you. Allow when things happen in your life, you to look at it as the positive or opportunity for you to grow. Once you start doing that, once you start deliberately making that choice to feel better and to do better and to move differently, abundance come into your life. Success come into your life. It says, you are meant to succeed and failure should feel bad to you. Life is supposed to go well for you, and when it does not, there is something wrong. But what is wrong is not something that is outside of your control, over which you have no control of. What is wrong is within you, and you do have control. And by taking control, it's not difficult to do once you understand the basis of who you are. The basis of the law of attraction and the value of your emotional guidance system. That's what God's trying to teach you. He's trying to teach you how to get yourself out of a funk, how to get yourself out of depression, how to get yourself out of stagnancy. It's not going to happen by you not doing anything. It's not going to happen by you closing your hands and being like, no, I'm not going to do nothing. You change your life, you create miracles by making a conscious effort, a conscious decision to do it. And then walking in that direction. Underneath it, it says, for joy and power, my every story is attracting its vibrational match. I have to read this one. Every thought that you think is vibrating at a very every thought that you think is vibrating at a very powerful Every thought that you think is vibrating at a very personal frequency, and by the powerful law of attraction, the essence of which the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. That thought is now attracting another thought, and that is its vibrational match. And now those thoughts combined are vibrating at a frequency that is higher than the thought that came before. And they now, by the law of attraction, attracts another thought and another. Eventually that thought will be powerful enough to attract a real life situation manifestation. What does that mean, Am? That means that you can start. Creation starts in 3. I say it all the time. Creation starts in 3 steps. It first starts in your mind, and then it first starts in your mind and your thoughts. And then it happens in the words that you speak. And then it happens in your actions. If those 3 things are not in alignment, it doesn't matter how much you think and you want it, it's not going to happen. So if you're constantly dwelling in this place of negativity, no positivity can come in there. What God is saying is that it's not, and he's saying that you can't, in this card, and this is what this whole reading is God trying to get you to understand, that this is not something that you can do for 30 minutes a day and think that your life is going to change. This has to be a lifestyle habit. This has to be embedded in your DNA. This has to be second nature. And it's not going to be second nature if you do it spontaneously. You have to do it every single day. That's why people do morning routines. Because they get themselves in this habit of first thing in the morning, I'm going to put my mind and my attention on good thoughts, because when I'm thinking good thoughts, I'm attracting good things. When they get themselves that motivational stuff, or they're doing journaling or whatever, you know, a lot of these motivational and daily devotionals, they're telling you, they're helping you with either like with life skills. Like I have one for Ilana, I never say her name right. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I have Fix My Life Auntie. I have hers, and it's like just telling you to get your mindset right. So like if something arises throughout that day, you don't look at it as though something is wrong with you, but you look at it as though everything is happening in your favor. You listen to these things, and you God, when you're trying to surround, you know, when you're trying to better your life, you surround yourself, and then God say you change your diets, which means you change the things that you intake so that you're always in this state of like feeling better. And then you learn tools that when you are not feeling better, you learn how to pivot. So for me, if I'm not feeling better, for me, if I start to get anxious about spending a lot of money or doing something like that, I started doing some FET, I started doing some tapping. Simple tapping. For me, if I find myself waking up in the morning and I'm not really in a good space, or even if I'm not in a good space, if throughout the day things are not feeling good for me inside, I'll start writing. I'll journal it. That's another way for me to transmute energy. What God is saying is that you have to stop living in this place of where it's like the world, everything is just happening to you and it's woe is me. God is asking you to take control of your life. And the best way to take control of your life is by starting to take control of your emotions and taking control into your reactions to situations that are happening outside of you. One good thing that I did learn from that yoga training, it was talking about how there's like 3 transactions, 3 P's, or 3 things that happen in your mind. It's like first you receive the information, then you analyze the information, then you come to your conclusion, you know, and then you regurgitate it. But what happens is we don't break any of those steps down. We just have things happen and then we just react. We don't stop and say, oh, you know what? This is something that has happened before. Let me choose something different. So often we're just so quick to react. And so that's what this month, like this is what this time period is about. God wants you to really stop being so reactive to your environment. He's asking you to take control of your environment by taking control of your emotions and where you are choosing to focus your attention. Let's get just a little bit more tarot out here. God, how can we overcome? Well, God, just give us some more information about when we are attracting good, we are feeling good, how we can take on this attitude that everything is working out for us, how we can always know that it is our birthright to be successful and to choose to feel better now. How can we think more thoughts of positive and powerful thoughts so that we can attract things differently into our life? Make it as plain as possible. And I did this wrong, y'all. I did this wrong, but it's okay. It's been a minute, so let me get it right. Are these? Okay. It wasn't upside down. This is so good. Oh, this is so good, y'all. All right. So at the top of, like I told you guys, we're right now, angel number 3333. This card is all about getting emotional healing. Right now, this card that came out was the Star card, and it came out reverse. If the Star card was to come up upright, it's all about just internal healing after a dark period. you're feeling good, you're feeling at one with the universe, but this came out reverse. And so like I was saying, your life has not been feeling good. You have not been feeling this healing and this healing that you ultimately want. Like things just have not been good for you right now. And so God is saying, in order for you to start coming out of here, in order to get the healing that you ultimately want and you ultimately deserve, you need to start telling yourself different thoughts. You really need to allow yourself that when you are feeling bad, trying to find a way to pivot that so that you can feel better. The best way for you to do that is sleep hypnosis. I'm so surprised that card didn't come out here, but I actually have like a soundtrack of like sleep hypnosis tracks. And if you have a problem with like meditating, like if that's not your thing, you can pop these on at night and it still will get the job done, because it would just kind of like get some of that, limiting beliefs out of your mind, out of your system. For expansiveness, we had the Ace of Cups come out reverse. The Ace of Cups upright is all about this fresh new start, this fresh new beginning that is emotionally fulfilling and something that you really want to do. But because you have been in this place of stagnancy, and because you have not been in this place of where you're being feeling healthy and whole, you can't get the new beginning. Because every time something happens into your life, you think that it's something bad happening. You can never have that fresh new start. So God is asking you that if this month or whatever, after you listen to this video, if something goes wrong in your life, or if something happens in your life that's not, pleasing to you, God is asking you to just look at the situation as if things are going, what if this is working in my favor? What if this is actually something that is benefiting me? If you do that, God will be able to give you this fresh new cup and to start this fresh new cup and this new journey to healing. This is all about trying to heal your mind and your emotions. It's actually about healing yourself by healing your emotions. At the middle of this, we have, I can deliberately choose to feel better now under abundance. And so God is saying that when you are in these spaces of not feeling good, when you're in this place of just not having the healing that you need, when you start to turn your attention when negative things happen and you say, this is working out in my favor, when you are really deliberate and trying to find those good things, those things to feel good about, to shift yourself, to make yourself feel better, then God will give you the pinnacle. Like God will give you what you're looking for. The abundance will come to you. The fresh, the help, the assistance out of nowhere will happen. The help will come for you. The situation that seemed like it was never going to change suddenly begins to change. But it's not because, you are so smart or anything, it's because you decided to choose differently. You decided to heal yourself. You decided to move from a place of wholeness and a place of joy, and not in a place of lack and just jealousy or, envy or fear. God is saying He wants you to go through this process of healing your emotions so that you can come into harmony with yourself. A lot of people, they look at this and they see this could be, you coming into harmony with another person. Maybe for a lot of you, okay, I'll take that. Maybe for a couple of you guys, you've been experiencing a lot of heartbreak. You want to have love in your life, but things have not been easy for you. There's been a lot of just trials and tribulations. And it seems like every single time you meet somebody and you think that this is going to be the fresh new start, something happens. But God is saying that it's not that something happens. It's because you're so entrenched in the old way of thinking. You're so used to men disappointing you that the moment that a guy do one thing that reminds you of what happened before, you automatically write him off. You automatically think this is not going to work, and so it does not work. But God is saying that if you approach a situation differently, if you allow guys to have the benefit of a doubt, if you look at every situation as what if it's working out for me, you'll be able to start getting that cycle of healing. You'll be able to get that emotional healing that you ultimately want. And then you can come into union with someone else. But other you guys, this is about you coming into union with yourself. You have been masking your emotions. You have not been wanting to feel your emotions. And God is saying, you're not going to get anywhere like that. If you've been creating vision boards that never come true, it's because you refuse to listen to your emotions. That's why it's not coming true. You don't know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, how can you consciously create the life of your dreams? So God is asking you to go through this process so that you can know that success is your natural birthright, and you can naturally move into union in this place of wholeness, in this place of power and joy, which is at the bottom. Once you do all of this, you will find yourself in this place of just total contentment. You will realize all of the things that has happened to you. These are all of these cups. I look at this like these are all the cups, all the things that he had to overcome in his life. These are all the trials and the tribulations that he's been through. And instead of looking at them as though, oh, this is horrible, or oh, this is bad, or why did this happen for me? I feel like he's just had such a peace of mind because he realized that all of those things got him to where he is today. And so I feel like that really, really strongly that God wants you to do the exact same thing. He's trying to get you so that you can be in this place of being Rihanna, being the bad girl, making those decisions without allowing, them to harm your heart. Also, a lot of you guys have been in this space too much. You've been, because you are refusing to feel your emotions, the minute that they come up, you shut them down. And God is saying, put your sword down. It's time for healing now. Put your sword away. It's time for healing now. It's time to come into this place of alignment. And the way that you're going to come into this place of alignment and healing is by coming one with your emotions. All right, y'all. So let's get us. I think we need a Black Angel card. I feel like that is necessary for this. All right, God, give us one final message to wrap this message up of healing our emotions, learning to trust our emotions, learning to trust ourselves by willing to take that leap of faith, by taking that attitude that if everything is working out for us, choosing to feel better now, knowing that success is our birthright. How can we stand in our power and change the vibration that we are telling ourselves? Change the story that we are telling ourselves so that we can change our vibration. Gotta make it as plain as possible. Angel number 4120. Making good timing. Probably because this message was just like, all right, so we got the prayer. Underneath the prayer, we have the grandmother. So I'm going to read what the grandmother is. Like, what does this suit mean for us? All right. Battles within. What were we just talking about? If you selected the grandmother, you create your own cycle of struggle in life. You are caught up in your own web, and it's all very complex. Unraveling your self-worth from your own struggles is your deep soul work. You'll need help because it is difficult for you to name your own struggles. You can only feel them. How can you go through your fire to the other side of suffering? Are you driven by your suffering or feeling stuck in the middle of it? Can you view your personal struggles as collective suffering? This is your work. And for the prayer, this deals with illusions and reality. Woo! If you selected the prayer, you have battles with what is true and what is false. You can think you do and what is happening. What you think you do and what is happening in your life are not congruent. You may have a tendency to avoid what life is presenting you by attending to only those things that interest you. You may have a tendency to escape. If you could look at life as just passing, you may be able to stay with it. Do you think you can make peace with what is potent in your life? What was I telling y'all? Y'all be running from your emotions. But you can't do that. In order to truly be the alchemist of our lives, we have to become the master of our emotions. We have to face our emotions. We can't run away from them. Just doesn't work that way. Angel number 4325. You know faith. On the waking path, trusting. On the sleeping path, fatalistic. You recognize and honor that which we cannot see with our eyes. You speak most clearly about faith, love, and compassion. You know well that these qualities of life are not another person as much as they are the elixir or light connecting us as living beings to each other. The home you live in is important as it is your sanctuary, your temple. On the waking path, excuse me, guys. On the waking path, you do not have to see, feel, touch, or understand in order to believe, trust, or have faith. You are the messenger of spirit. Your sense of life is steeped in the philosophy that entangled things such as love, intuition, and faith are often the most unexplainable yet influential forces in our lives. You can be a mystery of some sorts to people, but this does not concern you. As a prayer, you are sometimes misjudged for not being aware of the realities in the world. However, the unknown is fundamental to your being open to new divine realities that may not be tangible or understood. On the other hand, you can avoid worldly realities if it seems too difficult to face, and find yourself basking in the heavens without your feet planted on the ground. In relying on messages from Spirit, you are often disappointed. These disappointments can come from expectations. These disappointments can leave you hopeless and joyless. It is hard to have faith when life has been difficult. You may have become fatalistic. This fatalistic approach to life can lead you to soul sleeping. For your healing and revival as a prayer, understand that faith is a type of knowing that involves an understanding of how you perceive your own life. Your perception of life dictates what kind of faith you embrace. Blind faith or knowing faith. Blind faith is broad and vague with no grounding in your own experience of life. Knowing faith involves a clear view of what you are trusting in your life. To be fatalistic is to not trust anything or anyone. Prayer, you have all the time in the world. Decide what is real for you while remaining open to the unknown and new powerful experiences in life to base your faith. So guys, I am going to go ahead and wrap this beautiful reading up for you guys. This reading is all about gaining information about yourself, gaining self-knowledge about yourself, becoming one with your emotions so that you can get the healing that you ultimately want in life. God is asking, in order for you to get the expansiveness, in order for you to change your life or become the alchemist of your life, you have to start taking ownership of your life. You have to start taking ownership of your feelings and knowing that whenever you are attracting good, whenever you are feeling good, you are attracting good. So when bad things occur, God is asking you to turn your attention onto the good aspect and how things could be working in your favor. If you start allowing yourself to focus on the good things and looking at how situations can work in your favor, they will bring you into this sense of expansiveness, and you'll be able to start this new fresh journey towards healing. Once you do this new fresh journey, once you start this new fresh journey towards healing, you will realize that you have the power, and that abundance is truly knowing that you can deliberately choose to feel better now, regarding any situation in your life. So whether things are working out in your favor or things are going the way that you would like, or if it's not, you know that you have the power to always turn your attention and to bring anything that you want into life. And as you keep taking that attitude, as you know that you can feel better now, as you know that abundance is your birthright, God will start showing you in small, tangible ways. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a slow, steady journey. But God is saying that if every single time something goes wrong, you turn your attention to what could possibly go right, how this is working in your favor, everything will turn all right, because success is your birthright. God is asking you to go through this process so that you can come into total alignment with yourself, and so that you can have a knowledge of yourself and acceptance of yourself. Right now, you're feeling bad. You're feeling at odds at yourself because you don't know yourself. You don't trust your journey. As the card just said for the prayer, it's one thing to have blind faith, and it's another thing to have a knowing faith. God is asking you to have the knowing faith. He's asking you to know that every single thing that you are looking for is because it is your birthright. It's because it's been implanted in you. But only until you do that work, you will never be able to overcome, or you'll never be able to get that healing that is truly meant for you. Underneath all of this and supporting you, God is letting you know that your grandmothers, your ancestors, the people who love you most are supporting you. Your spirit guides. These are the people who are supporting you towards abundance and joy. You have such powerful roots, and God is asking you to just tap into that. But unfortunately, some of those roots gave us things that we need to heal. So instead of shying away from it, go head first into it. God is saying, take time out to create a clear vision of your life, to have a clear understanding of how you got where you are now and where you are today and where you are headed. Once you do that, you will truly be in a place of joy and power and alignment, and you will begin to manifest and to change all your vibrations in life. So God is trying to teach us in this reading today how to change our vibration to one of sadness, to one of joy, and one of power. Guys, I hope that this message was beneficial to you. If it was, please give me a thumbs up. If you made it to the end of this video, please give me your key takeaways. Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never, ever, ever let someone tell you what you can't do. Namaste. See you guys next month.